Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM.
Brought to you proudly by Sportsman's Warehouse, Counts Marine, the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency, and Avery Superstore.
Hey, welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray. And again, good morning to all you folks in Brownsville, Tennessee, and Jackson, Tennessee, throughout all the Mid-South area, North Mississippi, West Tennessee, East Arkansas. This is one of those special shows that we do each year that kind of kicks into a big event that's coming up next weekend. Well, actually, a lot of the pros will start arriving tomorrow. They'll have some practice rounds 3 days or so, then take a day off, and then they'll kick it up with the Forest Wood Cup, the FLW Cup over there on Lake Hamilton.
That's right.
Not to be confused with Lake Washita.
Lake Hamilton.
Lake Hamilton, and you recognize that voice on the line. That's Ron Wong. This is kind of a bonus Wong. We don't normally have Ron on the first Saturday of the month.
But we had to do this.
We have to do this show because this show is so important as we celebrate our 18th year on the air next week. And we've got a guy on with us on this segment that he and I go back a long, long way. I think he was a lieutenant then. Now he's a general. You know, I mean, he's raised himself. I'm still a private. Just a buck private is where I am.
All of us are privates.
And Ron Wong, you're the introduction man for this segment, and tell our listeners who's hanging on the line also.
Well, formerly of B Branch, Arkansas.
Formerly. There's nothing formal about B Branch.
Well,
okay?
it's still there, but he's left.
Okay.
And, long-time professional angler. And to me, I mentor this man for his ability to use a Texas rig worm because he is the best in the business, Mr. Larry Nixon, who has qualified again for the Forest Wood Cup. Good morning, Larry.
Good morning, Ron and Larry. It's good to be on here again, let me tell you.
Well, the Forest Wood Cup, it's going to be a little toasty out, but it may set up pretty well for you, Larry. I mean, I see you as the best Texas rig worm fisherman there is around, and that could set up well for you on Hamilton, couldn't it?
It really could. There's always a chance of catching you a really big fish on a worm, and that's one of the things that I really like to do. And the only problem with that is August. August is not one of your premier months to be fishing plastic worms. Them fish got a tendency to come off that bottom a lot, and you got to figure out lots of different ways, but you can still catch that big one if you find the right brush pile.
Well, we got Joe Opogger on there, too. He's the director of communications for FLW, so we've only gone into 16 minutes, and we've already got a complaint about the weather, Joe, so we can't we can't help that, Joe, talk about what it means to have Larry in this field.
Oh, gosh, it means the world just to bass fishing, the sport, and FLW. Having a guy of Larry's stature and career, this is one of the only trophies that doesn't reside on Larry Nixon's mantle. So it's certainly one that, as a company, we're all rooting for Larry, and hopefully he can get it done this week.
And I'm rooting for him also.
Well, Ron will be there, so you can root right along with him, my man. 16 times in this, Larry. You've done just about everything. What would it mean for you to win this event?
Oh, it'd be incredible. You just don't know how incredible that would be to win that trophy. I've tried to win it so many times. This is actually, I think, number 17.
Whew, okay.
And, I've had 3 or 4 of them in my back pocket, and Mother Nature always took them away from me, so I'm tired of that, and it's my turn.
A while ago, Larry, you were talking about a lot of those fish aren't going to be relating to the bottom because of the thermocline, and they're going to be roaming around suspended. What are some of the other things you're thinking about that you may have to do to try to catch them?
Well, it's the time of year when a lot of different things could work, and then the thing about August, the bad thing about August is your time frame to do well is very small.
Yeah.
You've got a real small window in the morning when fishing's pretty fair.
Yeah.
And, buddy, when it dies, it dies. And then it don't pick back up again till, maybe 12 or 1 o'clock. You can catch one here or one there doing certain things. And a lot of times it's on moving baits and it's on top waters, maybe a mid-range bait like a spinner bait or a swim bait.
Yeah.
But you usually just don't catch them very good down on that bottom in August. I mean, that's just last year was kind of a unique deal when Clint won it on Washita. He caught 2 big ones right there at the end.
That's right.
They come out of brush piles right where they're supposed to be, and he just had the timing down right and caught them 2 big ones and put him over the top.
Well, you're exactly right, Larry, and you're that small window in the morning, because Joe, what time do they blast off in the morning?
6:30 a.m.
All right, 6:30. That means you might have about an hour window there, Larry, to try to do as much damage as you can or put as much weight into the boat as you can, isn't it?
That's correct. Once that sun hits the water, buddy, it gets pretty rough.
Hamilton has a lot of docks too, and piers, which means there's a lot of shade. Does that help or hurt you?
Well, that's going to be one of the things that the kids are going to love. See, that's something I can't do anymore. My hands are shot. Me skipping baits under docks, no. I might take a spinning rod and get one.
Well, that's what I would do. I wouldn't use my bait casting rod. I'd be using my spinning rod and skipping them up under there. I'm too old like you, Larry.
Let's don't get into age here. Let's don't get into age here. We are talking. Hey, we're talking to Larry Nixon, a longtime guide, and if I'm not mistaken, Larry, this event, though, this sport takes its toll. So I would like to talk just for a second about that, how you've been able to handle a career like you've done, and still you're right there with the young guys and things. And I know there's people listening to this show, young bass anglers, saying, I'd like to do what Larry Nixon done. So talk just a second here. You're going to deal with heat. Ron's told you that. You're going to deal with really young kids and things. You talked about that. So talk about the competitive edge you've got now and how you've been able to continue this career for so long.
Well, one of the best things that I've learned years and years and years ago was to catch fish in the summertime, you better be able to fish a worm and a jig.
Yeah.
And, to keep your mindset right, you just got to keep your mind on what fish do in the summertime or whatever time of year it is you're out there, and go with your game plan. Know that you're fishing right.
Yeah.
And just because you're not getting a bite doesn't mean that you're not fishing right. It just means sometimes that, you haven't tripped his trigger, or he's not feeding at all, and you just got to be patient and stay with it. And, that's one of the things that I've always prided myself in. I'm able to figure out a daily pattern just about anywhere I go, and I don't really rely on what happened yesterday. I let my instincts take over, and, when you've done this, let's see, I've been fishing tournaments 42 years, and I guided 7 years before that.
Yes,
so,
yeah.
Holy cow, I've got my time in. It's just my body parts are all wearing out.
Well, I mean, to think that you're still I know you're a competitor, and that really what generates interest in this thing is you come into this field and these young whippersnappers are in there and things along that line. But at the same time, you still want to win, right?
I want to win as much as I ever did. I haven't given up on winning, even though it's been a little bit of a dry spell, since I won the last time. But I know good and well that I'm still capable of winning a fishing tournament, and it might as well be the Forest Wood Cup.
Oh, there you go.
Well, that would be awesome to see, Larry. People, just like yourself there, that competitive edge, that's why you're still in it too, isn't it?
Yes, I love it. I could retire but I still love to fish.
You do,
I love
don't
to
you?
go to 8 tournaments a year. That's about all I want, but I still love it, and I look forward to each event. And I've been out there in my garage for a week now getting ready for this tournament, and I know in my mind that there's about 3 baits that I'm going to use if I'm going to win. But I got all the others ready.
Just in case. That's right, because you never know what's going to happen there.
I think you've almost
never know.
You're getting close, or maybe you've passed 200 tournaments in your career. That blows my mind. I mean,
I'm sure I've fished more than that.
A lot more than 200.
Well, I mean the FLW and all these things, the different times in that and everything. So, how do you prepare for an event like this?
Well, the biggest thing is just to have confidence and you know where everything's at.
Okay.
I've went through that boat and my fishing tackle a dozen times to be sure that I've got the right colors, the right sizes, the right sinkers, the right hooks, everything, and everything's ready to go with new hooks. And, you just keep your mind on the game.
Yes.
Fishing is a business to me.
Yeah, it is.
And the more I think about it and the more I get in that boat, I fished hard up until about a week ago. And the more I'm in that boat, the more comfortable I am with everything that I need to get me through a tournament. And, now I just got to depend on me to get out there and find enough fish to get me through 3 days.
What's it going to take? Me and Ron are asking this. Now we're asking Andrew, what would you take right now and walk away happy?
38 pounds.
Man, that's right on. Have you been talking to Andrew? You guys already been together, huh? Okay.
And I ain't talked to any of them kids.
These kids.
And you're not going to neither.
But I'll tell you right now, I'd take 38 pounds in a heartbeat and take my chances.
Well, Larry,
I'm not real sure I ain't shooting a little high.
Right.
That's what.
Well, Larry, first of all, we at Outdoors with Larry Ray want to wish you all the very best there in that tournament.
Yeah.
And stay mentally strong and get that trophy and bring it home.
I'll do my best.
I'll see you there.
Well, I want to say one thing before we close. We're picking our winners at the end of this show, and I wasn't saying what I was going to see. Larry, you're one of my 3 picks. Okay, no pressure on you. No pressure, Larry. Okay.
I hear you.
You win and I retire. Okay, that's what it'll be then. All right, buddy. Thanks, Larry.
Thank you, guys.
Good luck, and Ron
I'll
Wall
see you
will
there.
be there. He'll see you. Joe, thank you, and hang on. We'll be right back. Outdoors with Larry Ray.